Hey teachers, this is the instructional guide for primary 4, term 2, week 2. All right, this week there are two booklets. The first one is on finding area and perimeter of rectangles and squares. So I think to do a recap, right, the perimeter is length, all right, so two sides of the rectangle here, right, length plus length, and then so you might want to indicate there's length here, and then breadth plus breadth. Okay, so there are two ways of looking at it. It's either length times length, length plus breadth, recap plus length plus breadth equals perimeter, or the other way to do it, right, is length plus breadth, right, multiplied by 2, that will give you the perimeter. Now for this question, they have to find the unknown, right, which is the breadth, when length is given. So there are a few ways of doing it, right? If you go by addition or subtraction way, subtraction addition, right? It'll be 20 minus 6, right? And then will be equals 8 cm. 8 cm, that would include the breadth on both sides, and then divide by 2, right? So explains to the student. The other way they can do is just do length plus breadth. If length plus breadth equals perimeter divided by 2, so what you can do is 20, right? Divide by 2, that will give you 10 cm. So 10 cm is length plus breadth, right? Therefore, if length is 6, breadth is 6. 10 minus 6 minus 6. 10 minus 6 equals 4 cm. Okay, so this is the way you can do it. And the same thing applies for square as well, except square is easier. If the perimeter given is 32, right? Because all sides are equal, okay, it's just simply divided by 4. So that's what students need to do. Get them do all the guided practice here, and I think that should be more enough, right? Once they've shown competency in answering this question, they should be able to do most of it, right? So finish all the guided practice, and then we can move on to somewhat harder questions. Okay, like for example, page 8. Go through question 3B with them, right? Make sure you highlight the perimeter here refers to this whole portion. Okay, so the idea is to take 3,800 minus 1425 minus 1425 on the other side, and after that you get 950, okay, which is this side and this side. Now some student may be tempted to divide by 2. All right, if they divide by 2, make sure that you add back the same, right? Add back again. So in this case, we want to tell them that, hey, there's an easier way, right? Since this side and this side is the same, right? You don't really have to divide by 2. Okay. Then we move on to question number 7. Okay, go through with them. Same thing, 2968 is for the square. So divide by 4. And then after that, right, 2 sides here. You get 1 side times 2. You get an answer. Okay, this one is a bit different, right? So you might want to use this method to teach them instead. Here, perimeter is provided. So therefore, the perimeter is 216 cm, right? So indicate to them, right, that for this rectangle, because they have the same perimeter, right, for the rectangle is 216 cm meters as well. Now, if the length is 3 times the breadth, so you can do it this way, right? 3 times the breadth, that means length is 3 units, breadth is 1 unit. Total will be, so you write it out like this way to show them 1 unit, 1 unit, 3 units, 3 units. Total will be 8 units, right? So 8 units equals to 216 cm. 1 unit equals to 27. And you're supposed to find the length. The length is 3 units, right? 3 units here. So length times 3 equals 81, right? And then write the answer 81 cm. A common mistake is when they have forgotten to write the unit of measurement. So remind them. Okay. And then take them through, I think there's one more question here where there are no shapes or no figures drawn. Tell them that they can draw on their own if they like. Okay, but otherwise, okay, they can visualize. Perimeter is 280 cm. So in order to find what is just the length plus breadth, right, which is length plus, you will take the perimeter, divide by 2. Okay, equals 140 cm. And then after that, you can figure out, right, because the breadth is 20, length would be 140 minus 20, and you get the length instead. Okay, what about this one here? Rectangle is then divided into half to form 2 smaller rectangles, right, with the breadth remaining the same. Find the perimeter of each. Okay, so for this, they may have a hard time trying to visualize. For those students who just read words, they may not. So you might want to draw out instead for them. Okay, but I think typically it is quite okay, right? Because let's see, the length is split up into 2. Okay, and then the breadth is still the same. Then they can calculate the parameter of each, right? So length is just split into 2, and then breadth is still the same. So it's length plus breadth times 2, or length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. Okay, and then we move on to the last booklet. Okay, the last booklet is on, get it up. Okay, finding an unknown side of a rectangle with a given area. So here they got to remember the formula of area first, right? A recap: area of rectangle is length times breadth. So if length times breadth, right, equals to 40 cm. Okay, and then one of it is given, right? Length is given, so length will be equals to, sorry, shouldn't write the equals here, equals to 40 divided by 8. Right, should be quite easy. Okay, same thing applies for a rectangle. So get them to do the guided practice here. All right, and then I think they should have no problem doing that. Okay, now the next one is so guided practice, complete everything. Next one is understanding square. Okay, the idea of a square is it is length times length. So they should remember, you know, in a way they have to remember the square root, right, of an area that way. So if let's say the square, let's say the area is 1 cm square, right? Then 1 cm times 1 cm is 1 cm square. They need to know the numbers that when you multiply by the same number, you'll get that so-called product, right? So they get to memorize this, right? 3 times 3 equals 4, 4 times 4 equals 16, 5 times 5 equals 25, no, and so on. Okay, then get them to do a guide practice. I think it's useful for them to draw out something like that. Okay, to draw this. If it is very time consuming, you can just draw a few. Just make sure maybe you pick one for them. Get them to draw a square of 5 cm by 5 cm, right? 5 times 5. Okay. Yeah. So depending, right? If it is time consuming, we will skip some of those questions. And then let's move on. Okay, so move to question 16. Do E and F. So basically, if it's a square, the area is 49 meters square. So they need to know its length times breadth, right? Length times breadth. Okay. So in this case, square is the same, right? So it's length times length, or whatever you say. So 49, which two numbers multiply together get 49? 7 times 7, right? So length is 7 meters. And then for this, okay, they have to divide by the length, 120. For this rectangle, 120 divided by 8, that will give you the length. Okay, so most of these are repetitive question. I think, yeah, I think this one they would know as well. So maybe I'll just skip. Some of these questions are quite easy. KL. Yeah, let's, if that, yeah, depending on the time, I think if there's not enough time, skip those 2 questions that we talked about just now, and perhaps look at this more complex question. Okay, total area is 288 cm square. So what they need to do is they want to find ST, so which means they need to find the length of this part. Now, these are all 3 equals rectangles, right? Because here, identical rectangle. So remember to get them to read the questions first, so they know that these are rectangle questions. So if we split up in 3 parts, 24 divided by 3, this is 8 cm. Okay, so 288 divided by 3 would be the area of one rectangle, which is 96. And so 96 cm square divided by 8 cm. And they'll get the ST. Okay, all right. So what else? Do question 15. I think this one should be okay, right? They got some practice there. Do question 15 with them. Okay, because it doesn't have a picture, take them through, and that's it. Thank you.